Good morning, students. My name is Sanmarie Steenkamp. I would like to wish you a warm and welcome 2018 and all the best. We'll be presenting the course in life skills for the diploma in education, in secondary education for Life Skills 1. The subject code is DES LS12 for Year 1, Semester 2. All right, I would like to point out this is the examination-based contact class, and it's for all 3 examinations. In other words, it includes the November supplement examinations. So without further ado, we will continue with, Okay, so we will be looking at all 5 units, syllabus guidelines for life skills, grade 8 to 12. Unit 2, factors involved in teaching life skills. Unit 3, career aspects of life skills. Unit 4, teaching healthcare issues. And Unit 5, teaching sexual issues. So when we look at Unit 1, the National Syllabus Guidelines for Life Skills of grade 8 to 12, we will be looking that I will be discussing will be in the exams. Some of them will be not. So it will be important for you to go through your entire study guide. Please make sure that you cover all the topics in your study guide. Not everything that I cover in the contact classes now will be covered in all of the examinations. This is to make sure that you are very well read on this subject. Okay. So we will be looking at as a subject for grade 8 to 12. Life skills is a subject that intends to enable learners to find meaning in life. The intention of the program is to focus on the development of learners through a holistic approach, and the life skills curriculum is based on the concept of holistic education. So holistic means to include everything in life. So it's not focused just on one specific thing. It tries to include a little bit of everything in life. In other words, it will focus a little bit on career, on personal life, and then also, as you will see later on, a little bit of portfolios in life skills for learning and assessment purposes used in a lesson and are not to be removed from the classroom. A teacher should ensure that a learner's portfolio are kept in a safe place. So normally we would have like a cupboard where you can keep all the learner's portfolios safe. The portfolio should contain all visible activities and written work done throughout the year. A portfolio, which could be an exercise book, a file, an envelope, or anything containing a learner's visible work for each learner, should be developed for each phase. The portfolio should be available at all times to portray the learner's development. The portfolio is intended to provide evidence of personal growth. The purpose of assessment. The overall assessment of the learner is to assess what they have done throughout the year. They gain valuable value and also to utilize the information that they have gained in real life situations. The main purpose of assessment is to get a reliable picture of the progress of the learner. In the senior secondary phase, assessment will consist of informal and formal continuous assessment. So you get information of the learner, information to the parents, and evaluating the teaching-learning process. We will now look at the types of assessment that you will do. We will look at 2 specific types of assessment, formative and continuous assessment. Formative assessment, as you can deduct from the word form, is assessment that will be used through observation made and information collected, which are used both to guide the learner and to help shape the direct and teaching learning process. So this is as the learner is being formed and grow, you will make that assessment. Continuous assessment as possible. Marks given for various activities can be recorded for continuous assessment. Only be assessed during the first and second term for methods of assessment. We will look at the informal and formal methods of assessment. So we'll also look at how they differ. And look at the words. It should guide you should you have a question like this in the exam. So informal ways of assessing a learner, you will mostly look at observation of learners' learning progress while they are applying information, communicating, making value judgments, and in respect of their general participation. Formal methods of assessment would consist of tasks and activities that have been designed for specific purpose of assessing certain competencies. Result tasks are recorded and performance in projects and tasks which will be selected, graded and recorded. Please also note that in these presentations that I do, I cannot put in all the information that's in the study guide, so please make sure that you read up on everything that's in the study guide. So this might only be a summary. Alright, we move on to Unit 2. We will look at the factors involved in teaching life skills. In this particular unit, one of the things we will look at is the socio-economic and educational barriers to motivational attitudes towards learning. So as you can see, we have here Maslow's hierarchy of school needs, and that is the willingness of a learner to motivation to learn. It is dependent on the level of motivation that they feel. So according to Maslow's hierarchy of school needs, the learner has 5 essential needs that must be met in order for them to feel motivated. So at the basic lower point or bottom, we have the nutritional and physiological needs that must be met before a learner can feel that they are in a place where they are emotionally and physically safe. Once they feel safe, they can form relationships, which will lead to a positive classroom environment. From there, we'll just continue further on that on the next slide, builds on the other here. So it's a very logical step that is taking place here. So if you can understand this triangle, you should be able to understand how the system works of motivational attitudes towards learning. So socio-economic barriers and educational barriers to motivational attitudes are a mix of social and economic factors that works together to stop the learner from feeling motivated to learn. In other words, a lack of nutrition, if they don't eat well, if they have clothes to wear, a lack of safe home environment, if things are not going well at home, if they don't have a safe place to sleep, if there are financial problems at home, or they are living in a society or environment that thinks going to school is not necessary because children should work on the family farm, in other words, stay at home. All of these things might prevent them to feel motivated to go to school. When we look at motivation, you get 2 motivation and extrinsic motivation. So already the word tells you that the one is in and the one is outside, inside and outside, intrinsic and extrinsic. In other words, intrinsic motivation comes from within a person, extrinsic motivation, so the one is motivated from external forces, from outside forces. So intrinsic is a feeling of responsibility coming from the person, feel a need to achieve something for its own sake, connect the activity with their self-esteem, enjoys working on the assignment, tries to achieve growth as an individual. Imagine being in a car, you are the driver in your car, you completely in control. So that is you as an individual. Extrinsic motivation, you try to achieve a higher position, pay or status, feels it will ensure their position or status. It's done for recognition from supervisors or superiors. So in a school system, it can be either to show your friends that you can do something, so show your teachers how clever you are, values your rewards or awards for completing the work, so maybe you want to be the best in class. Outside forces controls your life, you want to be the most popular maybe in your class or amongst your friends. Luck, imagine being in the car, but you are the passenger in the car, you are not the driver. So this is quite easy to remember if you look at it in that way. Right, we move on to the role. So what does it mean when we talk about having a positive perspective? So it means that when you look at life, that no matter what curveballs you face, you can overcome it. So learners with a positive perspective as full of potential, not awful and overbearing. A person with a positive perspective loves themselves, will embrace opportunity, and will want to work hard to do good things. All they see and do. So these are really optimistic people. They don't be put down by the horrible things that happen in life. They really try to see the good in life. All right, what they also do is they respect others, they are reliable, responsible, they have self-control, they set and achieve goals, they avoid blaming others for mistakes. I think that's probably one of the big things of positive people. They also avoid resolve conflicts and have a positive manner. They take care of themselves. Quote that I have there, every day may not be a good one, but there is something that is a quote I think that one should remember and maybe tell yourself that every day. In today's life, it's very difficult to stay positive, but it also takes some hard work, and one can get there. One has to work on that. And I hope all of you who work on that. And it can also be transferred to your friends. You can assist each other to stay positive. You can assist your learners to stay positive. Okay, another important aspect or topic which is, I think, a very effective tool that you can use with your learners in life skills is Johari's window. So Johari's window is made up of 4 different panes. So it looks like a window, and it represents the self, and it's made up of 4 panes, where 2 of the panes represents the self, and the other 2 represents the others. The information is transferred from one pane to the other through trust formed when socializing, through criticism and through feedback. So when we look at the 4 panes in the little picture there, you will see that I'm just going to read the 4 panes. So the first pane in the upper left corner is called open area or arena. The second one is blind spot. The third one is hidden area or facade. And the fourth one is called unknown. So when we look at the first pane, I think I'm just going to discuss the first 2, which will be important for the exam, which is called the open area. Self area is this information refers a person's attitudes, behavior and emotions, feelings and skills that the person are aware of, and people around this person are aware of. This area grows through friendships and feedback as a person understands and listens to what others are saying about them. This area increases the blind spot, increases horizontally, It can also increase downwards and therefore decrease the hidden unknown areas as they reveal their feelings to another person. I will explain that just now. So this is an area that's known to you and to others. And that's why they call it the open area. So everything that you know about yourself, that others know about you, is this area. All right. So number 2 area. These are things that is known to others but not known to you. So other people may perceive you differently to what you perceive yourself to be, because they are aware of your blind areas which you are not aware of. So the blind spot can be reduced through efficient communication and feedback from others. For example, a person might be highly sensitive and cannot understand why people don't want to be their friends. But others are aware that this highly sensitive person can be draining and hard to be around, although the person is not aware of this part of their character. Through effective communication, the person can use it as an opportunity to grow. So this is a bit of a difficult area for any person. As you can see, they use the word there, effective communication, which most of us struggle with. So when we talk of the open area, where others the same thing, they know the same thing that you know. Now we get to the blind spot. A nice example to use is, I cannot see my back. Other people can see my back. So I can call my back my blind spot. See it, but other people can see it. Other people can describe my back to me, and then I might have an idea of it. Then it becomes known to me, which would make the open area a bit bigger and the blind spot a bit smaller. And that is what they mean about the open area becoming bigger and the blind spot decreasing. Okay, very much a problem area, because many times people struggle to do that, and that is where criticizing comes in, and ineffective communication many times happen, creating conflict. So I'm only going to discuss these 2 areas as they are the most important for you at this time. All right, please go and read this up. This is a very important part. Also I think for personal growth, this is an excellent model to use in your life skill teaching. Okay, so we're going to move on to Unit 3, which is career aspects of life skills. And we're going to look at the 5 basic categories of questions during an interview. So the most important categories that they use during an interview, which will be asked, is to look at, can the person do the job? Will the person do the job? Will the person fit into the organization? Can we afford this person? And what questions? It sort of covers all the categories that would be needed during an interview. Tips to when we look at all of these things, you will see it makes quite logical sense. There's a lot of etiquette involved here. So just keep things in mind to have good manners, basically, with this one. So wait to be seated. Do not tea, coffee or water if offered. Do not fidget. Sit up with your hands folded in your lap. Speak clearly. Answer questions briefly. So many times when we are nervous, we start to babble and we keep on talking. So make sure that you answer your questions briefly and it goes into the next point where you stick to the point. You do long stories. It's also an indication that you are not sure what you are talking about. Be honest. So if you don't know something, simply say, I don't know. Use formal language when answering questions. Also, don't try to sound too clever. People pick up on that very easily. All right, we move on to the next topic, which is about the Social Security Commission, and the funds that they principally administer is maternity leave, sick leave, death benefit fund, development fund, national medical benefit fund, national pension fund, and employees compensation fund. All right. If the PowerPoint seems very factual, it's because there's a lot of things that has to go into all three examinations. Yeah, just please bear with me. Right, so Social Security, will be a fund that everybody needs to have that's employed in Namibia. It is compulsory. All right. Okay, another important part of career aspect, when you are group work as an effective method in teaching life skills, we will look a little bit at group work, and the more people, if you want to have learners working effectively in groups, the more people, the more can contribute to solving problems. So this is just some of the advantages. No? It enables learners to break up tasks and work one at a time. It enables learners to manage time, discuss and refine understanding. It enables the chance of feedback and challenges, and it teaches communication skills. All right, we will look at teaching healthcare issues, and we will focus here on cancer, which is one of the greatest healthcare issues that we are having in Namibia, apart from HIV/AIDS. So what is cancer? Cancer is an abnormal growth of cells which tends to proliferate, which is a very big word, which basically means multiply in an uncontrolled way, and in some cases metastasize, also a big word, but it basically means spread throughout the body. It's a group of distinctive diseases, and that is why there is not one cure for cancer, as cancer can occur in many different forms. It can affect any tissue of the body and can have many different forms in each of the body areas. Skin cancer is often curable. Lung cancer is the leading cause of death from cancer for both men and women in the world today. Benign tumors are not cancer. Malignant tumors are cancer. And cancer is not contagious, which means you cannot get cancer from another person. Found on a human body are cancerous. We move on to causes and symptoms of stress. So we live in a very busy world today. So we are constantly surrounded by screens, advertising, colors and noise. We are reading, when we pick up a newspaper, we read about death, rape, assault, murder. We're just constantly surrounded by negative news and information every day of our lives. And this leads to very high levels of stress. We are surrounded by it. So it's no wonder that we experience a lot of symptoms of stress. Some of these we feel in our bodies, so we might experience low energy levels, headaches, upset stomachs, which can include diarrhea, constipation, and nausea, aches, pains, tense muscles. I know I feel mine in my shoulders, headaches especially, chest pains or rapid heartbeat, insomnia, which means you cannot sleep, so your head is running, it's full of ideas and thoughts, and same thoughts over and over again. What do we do about this? What can we do to relax? Some ideas, you can ask your learners to hear what they do. Ideas that eat nutritious and balanced meals. Ask your learners, you can talk about what is nutritious and balanced meals. Limit caffeine, limit alcohol, also comes in there. Have a healthy routine during the day. Exercise is very, very good for stress. Count to 10 slowly and repeat if necessary. Talk to a professional, school counselors. Understand what triggers your stress and anxiety. Stay positive. Focus on your problems, one small step at a time. Okay, we come to the last unit, teaching sexual issues, which is not always an easy topic to talk about at school, especially with teenagers. However, it's probably the most important issue to talk about with teenagers. So the purpose of sex is multifaceted and has been complicated over many years. Something beautiful has become a fascination, and that has led to broken homes, marriages, and people. So the purpose of sex is multiple. One of the purposes of sex is a relationship. So sex in the right context creates a relationship and intimacy. It can unite two adults in marriage. It is people who love each other. The other purpose of sex is procreation. In order for the world to be populated and generations to be created, a heterosexual needs to be necessary to reproduce or to have children. And the last purpose of sex is for pleasure. Sex in the right context is a wonderful experience because it is part of our pleasurable and gratifying in the right context. It is used to connect with another person in an enjoyable way. It can satisfy a biological need, not including reproduction. It is used for self-expression and personal fulfillment. So, if we look at the difference between sex and love, we see that sex is self-satisfying. It's a physical act without a spark or any element of love. It doesn't involve an emotional relationship. We talk about friends with benefits. Is sex not love? Sex is a selfish act. A sexual attraction is not a long-term spark. It is often lustful desire to please a need that we have. Where love is an act where both people try to please each other, a discovery of each other's bodies and what pleases the other person. It involves an emotional component, friends that are intimate from a relationship. Love is selfless, and making love is a chemistry created when two people love each other deeply. All right. Law and practical impact of teenage pregnancy, which is extremely important, especially with the high number of teenage pregnancies that are happening in our country. The physical impact that this has on a girl's body, the shape changes, fatigue, which is extreme tiredness, exhaustion, stress, so much higher risk of STDs, complications in birth due to a pelvis that is not yet fully developed. Teenagers can be excessively stressed by the situation that are unaware of pregnancy, may engage in behavior that is dangerous to the fetus, like they might drink alcohol, they might do sports, they might use drugs, which can cause possible death of the baby and endanger their own lives. The emotional impact is depression, frustration, fear or stress, which can also impact the baby. Practical impact is the limited opportunity to complete their schooling, dropping out of school thus, unemployment, lack of prenatal care, and poor eating habits. Brought us to the end of this presentation. I wish you all the best of luck. Feel free to contact me. My contact details is on the very first slide. I wish you all the best of luck.